Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Hey, thanks a lot. Really excited to be joined this morning by one of the most inspiring leaders that I know. And really just whenever we first kicked off this podcast idea, this person was one of the first people on my list to say, we've got to get him on here because every time I talk to him, he fires me up. My man, Shawn Meaike at Family First Life. Shawn is the president and CEO of Family First. He started this business from scratch with literally, I don't want to say nothing, but almost nothing, and is one of the biggest and best American success stories that I have personally ever seen. And honestly, one of the best people that I've ever met. One of the most driven, hardworking, inspiring, motivational, dedicated people that it has. And this is one of the best businesses that we've ever partnered with. And I'm just honored to call Shawn not only my friend, but also my partner. So, Shawn, are you there with us now?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, buddy?
Hey, brother. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us today, man. I know you got a really busy schedule. You guys have, it's amazing what you guys have over at Family First Life. A lot of people kind of recoil a little bit whenever they see things like this happen, and you guys have actually stood up and actually going faster and accelerating through the curve through this time. And so I am so excited for all the leaders here at Integrity to one, get to know you because you are a legend. I mean, your legend is growing every day from where I sit, and I'm just honored for you to share a little bit more. So, Shawn, if you don't mind, for some of the people who are on this call that might not know as much about FFL as I do, give us a little background on how you guys started, a little bit about the products you sell, just a little bit of an overview of FFL, if you don't mind, man.
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate you letting me get on it. It means a lot, Brian. I have all the respect in the world for you and everybody that works at Integrity, both corporate and partners. So it's been a very humbling experience for me. I love being part of the team, especially, only being part of a winning team. So, we launched the company December 12, 2013. We had I had nothing. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not that proud, man. We had nothing. It was hard to pay the bills at the very beginning. We didn't have leads. We had one carrier. We were selling mortgage protection primarily then. We played around a little bit with final expense. We had a couple dozen agents, and we were fighting for our lives. I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me professionally because every week the commitment was we're always going to pay the staff, and we're going to figure everything else out. And there were a lot of times we didn't take anything monetarily. We were, American Express is great. God is great. We didn't have leads. Third month in, and we found the guy said, nope. I'll tell you what, ask Mike Size. We found a guy that had leads, and I wanted to buy all his leads, and they were like 74,000, somewhere around 70 grand. And next day I got an American Express Platinum card, no predetermined limit. So I used it, maxed it out, and that was my new limit. And we went to work, we're very blessed to be doing what we're doing now. It's mortgage and final expense. We're about half and half, that's about it. We play around a little bit of Next Universal Life. You just kind of partner with some of the guys that we're doing like on the other side and the annuity side. But we, mortgage and final expense is what we do. And it's grown into one heck of a business. And I absolutely freaking love putting people in a better position than we found them. And it's become very, very lucrative. And that's awesome. But in today's world, that's all we're doing, Brian, is we're doing what we've always been doing.
Man, well, hey, first of all, you are a true American success story. The fact, one of the things I love about pretty much all of our partners, if you go back to their story, is they took crazy risk, right? They took these risks that most people just don't have the courage to do or the foresight to take. And just like you're talking about maxing out your credit card just to buy leads so that you could support agents, man, that type of risk is what makes America great. And honestly, is regardless of what news we see or what's happening in the economy and all these different things, I see this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for more people like you to rise up and to take those risks and to serve new markets and other things. But the freedom of this capitalistic market that we've got here in America, I think we're going to see on the backside of this, we're going to see just a resurgence in that kind of American grit and determination and winning spirit that I know is kind of what you're made up with. I love the fact you said something, you kind of popped off on it real fast, but man, winners win, and winners want to be part of a winning team. And I mean that whenever I think about you, like there's a few guys I would never bet against ever, no matter what you were doing. And you're one of those guys for me because I know you're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. And I think, at the end of the day, I got a buddy of mine who runs one of the most amazing organizations in the country, Dream Center, my buddy, Pastor Matthew, who feeds 7,000 people a day. Okay. And I said to him, you having a hard time getting people to serve? He's like, it's interesting, man, because this is a time we're supposed to be served. I mean, we're supposed to serve all the time, right? But at the end of the day, because the going gets tough, we're going to run and hide and wait for it to end. And I guess, the thing for us is, as we come through this, you and I have talked about it quite a bit. I mean, 3 million people applied for unemployment last week? Brian, we can't even keep up with the recruiting and the amount of people we put in the class, working with the Department of Insurance or doing some virtual testing, the amount of people we've contracted. We've never, ever, and I think we've grown quite a bit, we've never had this many people. I think this is the most amazing business there is, bar none. I think a lot of people take it for granted. That was one of the things I would be very honest with you, one of the things I banked on when we started. I started doing this, I was 6 months into it, I'm like, there's a lot of people that don't work hard. 9 to 5, the song should be 5 to 9. I would never get up after 5 a.m. because I ain't that good. Well, I'm not that good, but I'll smoke you if I get up at 5 and you get up at 8 because I got 21 more hours than you. You ain't got no chance. I'm always going to smoke you. So, I mean, why? That was our thing. I'm like, there's a lot of people that take this business for granted. They don't realize how awesome it is. I've roofed houses for years. I did real estate. I lost a ton of money in real estate. I was a social worker working 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week to make $80,000 a year. I didn't find life insurance until I was 36. The single biggest thing for my kids is that they get to see an industry like this at their age. At the end of the day, there's nothing like this. And I've tried a lot of things, and I've made a mess of a lot of things. I've done a lot of things that haven't made me money. So for us, Brian, I mean, I'll give you, if it's okay, I'll give you an example of where we are.
Yeah, go for it.
Numbers don't lie, right? I mean, they just don't lie. And I thought we had a pretty good December. In December, the first week of December was our biggest issue paid week ever. Week one's always a little bit heavier. And this is life business only. So our mortgage and final expense. We issued $3,064,640 week one of December. Well, week one of March, we did $3,841,817. Now, week two of December, we did $1,985,000 for a week, 662. Week two of March, in the middle of this whole deal, we've been locked down. So week three, December, $2,074,000. Week three here, $2,863,000. We issued $8.4 million the month of December in life business. Our week four numbers are coming in now. We're going to be a little over $11.7 million in paid life business. Grew by 3.3. And by the way, December for us, Brian, give you perspective, it's always our biggest month. It's the end of the year. People work really hard. They're trying to finish their year strong, leaderboards, money. So we are literally up, getting close to 50% in life sales. We're going to grow through that in April. I like your song, by the way, today. By the way, Kendall can sing, but I also I Won't Back Down. Those are my favorite songs. What are we backing down from? Stand your damn ground. And I think that's what we're doing. And we have an amazing leadership team. We have people with an amazing attitude. And, Brian, I get calls every weekend. I, from day one, have had my cell phone number on Fame First Life. Number one, we didn't have a lot of clients early on, so it was whatever. I was excited to hear from anybody. But then we've had more people call up on the weekends and think they're leaving a voicemail, and they get somebody answer the phone. They're like, oh, I thought we'd get your voicemail. And they're going, I can't tell you how much I appreciate so-and-so for coming out. Brian, in 2008, this would have been detrimental because everything was paper app. I can remember one app was 17 pages. I mean, pen and signing and this and that. It's all e-app, man. This whole generation's, we are social distancers already. We do everything without seeing people anyway.
There's this common grace, right, that we have of of technology, and thank God for that. And so I think that's an amazing time that we're all living in. We got to take advantage of that. Man, you listen, Shawn. You've given me so many things. I got to follow up on a couple of them. First, a lot of people on this call understand what final expense is, and through our business, you're the first mortgage protection group that we've partnered with, which honestly, as I understood it, as I started looking at it, it's sold very similar to final expense. But in just like 30 seconds or so, could you just give a quick overview of what mortgage insurance is, just so that people understand, and maybe why it's so important right now, maybe even more than ever?
Yeah, it's why I got in this business. When I was introduced to it, I was introduced to the fact that the concept of term life insurance would return to premium. I had no interest selling term life insurance, none, until I realized it was return to premium. I mean, I get the numbers on it. Most of my clients weren't going to take out $5 million policies. I get taken out a big face amount for 30 years, cover your family taxes, I get all that. But for my folks, to them to take out a $140,000 term policy at the age of 28 for 30 years, when statistically they weren't going to get any back, I wasn't excited about that. What mortgage protection historically has been, I got involved in 2008, there's a myriad of companies that on a simplified issue basis say, hey, here's your policy. It's going to cost you $100 a month, $1,200 a year, $12,000 every 10 years. At the end of 30 years, you'll pay $36,000. If you're alive, at the end of your 30 years, which you're 30, you hope you are, you're going to get back the entire, everything you paid in premium-wise. Obviously, if there's a death at any point in time, that's going to be paid to your beneficiary. And what a lot of our folks, Brian, they're first-time home buyers, a lot of first-time college graduates. They've never thought about it. They get their house, they're in it for a month or two, and they're like, wait a minute, we send them a form, whether it's via social media or direct mail, and it says you can pay your house off in the event something happens to you. A lot of times there's, one makes more money than the other, one's on the mortgage, it's the other we find out. A lot of times credit-wise, they don't put them both on there, and it's like, hey, your husband's on, but you're not. So if he dies, what right do you have to this house? Well, he owned it. He's the mortgagee. He passed away. So, and in today's world, Brian, with the refinances, we're starting to see rates being what they are. We didn't have, 2008, everything shut down. Money's there. We had banks calling us,
right.
So it really just allows clients to have a peace of mind when they actually put their head in the pillow at night that, hey, something happens to one or both of us, the kids, me, the last thing we're going to have to worry about is where we're living, and at the end of the day, I get all my money back. So for the client, it's a win-win. I got an agent that Andrew Taylor says it the best. He says, he used to say it when he was in the field, he said, here's the three best things about mortgage protection. Number one, if you outlive this, which we hope you do, you get all your money back. Number two, which everybody's going to die, we hope you don't in this term, but if you do, your beneficiary gets paid. But it's just like kind of have some fun with people and be honest and be upfront. So that's what mortgage protection is. And again, we did just about $50 million and paid more mortgage business last year, so it was a heck of a year.
And this year,
we did $50 million in final expense.
So you do about 50-50 final expense insurance, which take care of the final expenses. 50% mortgage protection, this return premium term insurance product. So that was last year. You did about $100 million of combined business in that space, and then about another 150 or 200 million in annuities. You guys. You said you don't do much of annuities, but you guys do quite a bit. And Sean Rosario and some of your team there is just phenomenal.
He's a beast. Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
But, so this year, so you were saying that December's your biggest month, but then March, when like half the world is either freaking out or shut down, you're saying that you guys are having a record month, even better than December? Is that what you were saying? 50% better than December?
Well, it's 50% better. We're going to issue $200 million in life this year as our goal, and I think Shawn and those guys are going to knock out $200 million in annuity volume as well.
Yeah. So you're going to double. We're on our way to double our life premium with Family First Life, even considering this. Who knows what you guys could have done if some of these things wouldn't have happened. Just with how fast you're growing. So you're having record sales. The amount of sales like you guys are generating and the way you're helping people, as well as we're seeing in our health insurance. So Americans, not only are we essential, but Americans are recognizing the need for these products even more. One of the things I think you guys have illustrated this, and you mentioned it, but I want to come back to it, is we're seeing record numbers of unemployment. And man, I tell you what, if anything makes me sick during this, it's the heartache that some American families are going to feel whenever they get past this. However, we have one of the I think the best business in the world where we're able to we help people, right? I mean that's all we do is we serve people and help them. Agents have access to these incredible products. No one has the array of products that we have here at Integrity and the support and the expertise. There's nobody who knows about all of these different areas. So like if you had a client that needed long-term care insurance right now, you may not have to be an expert at that, but you know Mike Lynch and Lenny Anderson and John Wayne and David Wayne and those guys where you could call and go, hey guys, how can you help me with this? Or if you needed somebody with Medicare Advantage, and we got a bunch of guys who are really good, and you could call Ryan Kimball or Brent Ehlers or a bunch of our other leaders, Bill Correa and others, to immediately, and we'd be able to help. So the recruiting opportunity that I see out of this, of people who need a job, need an opportunity, is just going to be incredible. How's your recruiting going? Are you guys seeing good recruiting right now? What are you guys seeing?
A year ago, Brian, 18 months ago, we would recruit 100 people a month. That was, when I say recruit is, let me make sure, that we would contract 100 people a month. Recruiting is so like
they get set up so that
they get set up in your content. You
carry your
contract. Yes,
they're ready to go. They're ready to go. Yep.
Correct. So
100 people a month. 100 people a month.
Year and a half ago. Okay. Now there are days, Brian, we're doing 300-400 a day. Days.
Oh my God.
Like, it's because,
wow.
But at the end of the day, think about this. I always say this to every place, every server, right? That's sales, right? You go to this restaurant, and the guy or girl comes out and meets you. They got to deal with all kinds of people. There's no way I could do that, by the way. The first time somebody gave me a penny tip would be the last day I ever worked there. The first time you tipped me 6% would be the last time I worked there, because I would take that money from you on the way out the restaurant, because that's rude and wrong. So they're better people than me, and they're better at sales than I am, right? They know how to talk to all kinds of people. And there's so many people that have good social skills that are already out there. They're kind of independent already because they're dependent on their tips. So they already understand, go to work. It's a pay-to-play kind of deal. So we've just gotten real estate, servers. Everybody has all these businesses that are really hard to, so there's so many different places where people are coming from. And I think, Brian, at the end of the day, if you're not growing your business, in our business, I can understand if you own 12 restaurants and they're shut down. Can't grow it. You can yell, scream, be optimistic. You can walk on hot coals. You can call Zig Ziglar. It's not going to grow. Nobody's there. But our business, dude, if you're not growing it, it's because you're not trying. It's not. Listen, I'm just being, like I said, every one of my guys on the team, I have two guys that said, you guys aren't growing it because you don't want to grow it. Yes, we do. I'm like, no, you don't. It would grow because the rest of us are growing. See, if the majority of people weren't growing, it'd be one thing. Brian, we think we can contract 1,000 people a day. There are millions of people with a life insurance license, and now there are millions applying for unemployment every week. And even if they didn't do it full time, why would everybody out there not want to have this as a backup, at least part time, in case anything else happens? Because if this taught us anything, hey, in 2008, Brian, sales might have been tough. We did really well. But we had just gotten involved in life insurance. It was hard. It was a lot of work. We were running 30, 40, 50 appointments a week. But our recruiting was through the roof in 2008. Through the roof. Because people were like, dude, I thought my business was, I never thought anything would happen. I worked for a blue chip company, and now I have no job. And they're trading at less than $1 a share. Like, I never thought that would happen. So for us, this is the best time that any of us might see, which I agree with you. Our numbers are through the roof. I think we're going to go from, we had about 12,000 agents write business this last month. And Brian, I know it might sound crazy, but we want to be at 100,000 a month by the end of the year. And that might sound crazy, but I'm just saying that's what we want to get to. Whenever we started, people said you'll never get to 100 million in paid life ever. And I'm like, well, we did it. And now having what we have with you, because you talk about Lenny, you talk about Mike White, Med stuff. I have all these studs around me that know more about this stuff than me. I can just send the people over to them. We can all make a bunch of money together. I got your support. I got what y'all put together. We were running crazy. We didn't have this infrastructure like Integrity has. So we were growing it before at X number. We should be growing all of us, which is why most everybody is, right? I think. But at the end of the day, it's we're the ones in charge, man. Good, bad, or indifferent. The partners. It's and I think for me, I'm watching, man. I watch you. in fairness, I'm watching. I'm not judging. I'm a human being. I'm discerning. Is he working? Is he leading? And you're doing all the above. How could I not want to do it, man? So I think that this is the best time any of us may ever have to go ahead and put agents in place. And with social media leads, Brian, last thing I'll say is there's no cap on leads for us. There was a cap in '08. There is no cap on leads. The Facebook, the leads we're getting through social media have exploded.
Yeah, man. First of all, you give me. I'm ready. I'm ready to pick up a kid and go myself. I'll tell you what was interesting this
I'll go
weekend.
too if you want. Let's do it.
You'd outsell me for sure, but that's fine.
I know about that.
I don't care. I don't care about the credit. I just want to be part of the team, part of the winning team. Hey, you bring up an interesting point. This weekend, I noticed. I met some neighbors. I met 3 different neighbors I never met in my life, which is pretty sad for me. I feel I'm always going doing different things and getting to spend I sent out a video this weekend about this kind of this gift of extra time, and so I really tried to spend a lot of time with family and also just kind of getting out. One of the things I found is that neighbors right now are tired of being locked in their house. They're tired of not getting to see people, and there's this kind of innate need of all of us to be in community, right? And so in fact, I left. I was out here and I went over to the neighbor's house this weekend, and I didn't come back for an hour and a half. And my wife was like, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" And I was like, I went over to Mr. Hayes' house, and I never talked to him in my life. And this guy is like literally getting out of his freezer just like blackberries and all this kind of fresh stuff that he and his wife had frozen out of their garden, and was like, "Hey, I want to give you this." But what I found is, man, people want to talk to people right now. And so what we're doing and helping people is a big part. I know we're all kind of in this kind of lockdown area. And I know you've been spending a lot of time with family as well. So, in fact, as we were kind of starting this off, your daughter Savannah was even around. Is Savannah still there with you?
I don't think she might be in class, but she's taking a class online.
Did we lose Savannah? Well, one of the things whenever I love this,
she's online taking her class.
I love this about whenever we were kind of getting started and setting up here this morning. And Savannah chimed in. I said, "How are you holding up?" She said, "Doing great." And I said, "What do you think about being around the family as much?" She was like, "It's really special because my parents are always working so hard that I'm getting extra time." She's an 18-year-old. Like she's like most 18-year-olds don't want to be around mom and dad. And your daughter's sitting there going, "I love this extra time I'm getting with my parents." So man, I love that. Congratulations for just being such a great person, but also a great dad, man. I love that for sure.
It's a great kid. I appreciate that.
The last thing I wanted to say on this is, man, in times like these, leaders lead. One of the best parts about being part of this platform, I think, is that we're all partners. We're all working together, and so it's not binary anymore. It's not I win, you lose. It's not this. It's truly a win-win proposition, and it's moving at real time. And so thank you very much for sharing. Thank you so much for leading. Shawn, man, you're an inspiration to all of us, man.
Thank you, Brian, for putting me in business with all these people. It's been the most amazing they've ever been part of. And thank you for your leadership, dude. I'll follow you anywhere, bud.
Hey, man, I'll follow you as well. I love you and really appreciate you blessing all of us today.